When we talk about an internal movement, we are not talking about some kind of coordination, but a real reprogramming of the nervous system and the motor system. Basically, a reprogramming of the way we send motor signals to our body and muscles. In order to develop internal movement, it is necessary to respect some steps. They can progressively inhibit the way in which we normally move the body, so that you have the opportunity to create a new instinctive system. A system that chooses the relaxation of the body over the contraction. But in order to reprogram the movement, we cannot start from the movement, because in the beginning, every time you try to imitate a movement, you will inevitably use the body as you always do, with the motor patterns you have always had. That's why internal work starts with static practice. From static practice, we proceed to the study of the movement. It is through this transition from static to dynamic that allowed us to reprogram the way we use the body. And besides the Eastern series, Western science is also aware of the possibility of reprogramming the motor system. Just think of the work done by Moshe Feldenkrais. In his studies, he worked precisely on motor reprogramming, which later led to the codification of the Feldenkrais system. In some cases, he was able to reprogram the motor system even if it was severely compromised by injuries and neurological problems. Basically, he demonstrated that it was possible to activate the movement of certain center parts of the body using alternative pathways, bypassing the malfunction of more ordinary pathways. In a certain sense, we proceed in a similar way in our work. Through the right stimulations, we educate the body to follow alternative paths. Apparently, the movement looks very similar on the outside, but internally the engine that generates is very different. The signal that it generates is completely different. Let's talk about how to modify our motor system. After preparing the body and mind through the introductory practices, Zhang Zhuang will help you gain a sense of internal connection. This is what is generally referred to as the internal framework. The more you can eliminate tension, the more you will be able to perceive the space within your body. Over time, in the space you will develop a kind of ever-increasing internal pressure. Through this pressure, you will develop a great strength and increase your vitality. But we will work on this specifically in the future, okay? After a long Zhang Zhuang session, you should move on to Shili practice directly. Don't lose the sensation acquired during the Zhang Zhuang. Try to make into consideration at least 3 fundamental aspects. Keep the attention inward, connect the body, and eliminate unnecessary tension. Make sure to bring these 3 key points into the Shili. Try to maintain a close connection between Zhang Zhuang and Shili. If you proceed correctly, you will find yourself at a crossroad. The moment you try to begin the Xiangxia Shili, you will have the impression that you cannot move. Well, obviously it is only an impression, but by forcing the movement you will be able to move as usual. But if you try to maintain the sensation I've mentioned, you'll be at this crossroad. You will have to choose whether to force the movement and guide the Shili with the usual motor patterns, or try to drive the internal sensation to find an alternative solution. Move with as little effort, as little contraction as possible. Only once you have reached this crossroad can you begin to develop a new attitude. You will have to maintain a very relaxed attitude and guide the movement. When you start to move, you have to be perfectly relaxed, as if the body were a shell, and you will need to imagine yourself guiding the emptiness, and through the inner emptiness, guide movement of the body. This type of visualization will be very helpful to you. You will have the impression that the body is moving on its own. This is because the amount of muscular contraction required for the movement becomes minimal. You will not perceive the usual muscle movement. You will use the minimum amount of contraction necessary to do the movement. Nothing more. As you continue to practice, you will become increasingly aware of how much energy you normally waste during the day. The Chinese tradition talks about obtaining the maximum result with the minimum expenditure of energy. People always misinterpret it to describe only technical aspects. In fact, it's talking about a real optimization of energy starting from the initial impulse. Let's learn to get the maximum with the least possible effort. I suggest you pay close attention to the transition I mentioned earlier, the transition between Chanzhuang and Shili. In this very delicate moment, it's not very important to respect the external movement. Initially, the range of movement may even be minimal. For example, in Shangsha Shili, it is not necessary to go up and down with the hands. If you feel the need, reduce the range of the movement. Gradually, you can increase the range, but never lose the sensation of the reference. If by increasing the range of the movement you feel that you are losing the right setup, go back to a smaller movement immediately. Over the next few weeks, take the practice classes and go in search of this crossroad. Now is the time to take a major leap forward. Have a good practice.